What's going on, guys? It is Tony and Cesar from
Paintball.com.
And today we are telling you why you should not leave your marker under pressure.
Oh, tell me.
Oh, I'm about to tell you.
Well, we're about to tell you. One of the main things is that you never want to leave your solenoid under pressure because it destroys the O-rings, especially the dynamic O-rings.
100%. Even the spool within the solenoid.
In the solenoid.
Let alone your HPR, let alone all the other dynamic O-rings on your actual core. So leaving your marker under pressure, according to the professionals here, the engineers, the manufacturers, for more than 12 hours can do damage to the dynamic O-rings within your solenoid, within your spool, and within your inline regulator. So dive into it.
And God forbid you leave your tank on and it spikes. Your tank pressure spikes your gun. That's going to blow your regulator. It's going to blow your solenoid.
Time for a rebuild.
Then you got to rebuild everything. So save yourself some money and some time. And do not ever leave your gun aired up for more than 12 hours.
I mean, obviously, even at a tournament, a long day at a scenario game.
Yeah, they're not 12 hours.
You're normally not out there for 12 hours. And as long as you're cycling it, you should be fine. But make sure to degas that marker, get the last shot out of it. Don't leave it under pressure. Your O-rings are going to get distorted. So kind of walk them through it.
Basically, you know, you have your static O-rings. They're going to fail over a period of time. They're never going to come back. It's not like it has memory and it's going to come back. These pressure of this actual pressure, these two O-rings one gets pushed this way, the other one gets pushed that way. So what's going to happen is you're going to have a little cut on this side, you're going to have a little cut on that side. You might not hear the leak, but everybody's like, why is my tank draining?
Well, did you say static O-rings?
These are the static O-rings.
The ones that don't move.
Correct.
Dynamic are the ones that are constantly moving and cycling.
Correct. This is a static O-ring, and these three are static O-rings.
Where's the dynamic on these ones?
The dynamic O-rings are the ones that move. So basically, if I take the can off, so you're going to have your right here, dynamic O-rings right here. There's this one right here, dynamic O-ring right here, and right here. These are the ones that are physically getting moved back and forth.
Every time you cycle the marker.
Correct. So what happens is that's fine. They're going back and forth. But if you leave it under pressure, what's happening is that they're going to go one way or the other way, and you're going to get a pinch. Mark's probably going to put the diagram up on the screen so you can see
the O-ring extrusion process.
What actually happens to this O-ring.
Correct.
So and then the other thing too is if you do lubricate your gun, I do it, take your O-ring off and lubricate underneath inside the O-ring groove, and then put your O-ring back on. So this way you do have a little bit of lubrication, especially on the dynamic O-rings. When they're sliding back and forth, there's lubrication underneath and you don't get any wear and tear on the bottom. Yeah, they don't move that much, but it just helps the longevity of the O-ring.
100%. Obviously, if you're adding lubrication to that, it's not going to become dry or dry rotted. Obviously, if you're trying to cycle a gun with the dynamic O-rings on there and you have no lube or anything like that, your O-rings are going to crack, they're going to chip, they're going to get a little, like you said, a slit in them. So it's very important for that lube.
So basically on this one, the back pressure is this way and it's going to leak that way. When it goes forward, it goes that way. So you're going to get movement on it. And if you leave it over pressurized, this O-ring wants to come out. There's barely a little bit of room between this metal of the bolt and then the can itself. It's going to find time to where it wants to come out.
So don't leave this stuff under pressure because they will find the once
the
the air is on,
you're going to get it's the weak point.
Well, correct. It's just like a car tire as well. Like you might see losing air over time. Not necessarily you don't hear the leak, but it is losing air. Temperature changes between aluminum, stuff like that. So yeah, just at the end of the day, don't leave this stuff pressurized. Do you want to rebuild your gun all the time? Probably not.
The most important thing is your solenoid.
Correct. Yeah, expensive.
It's the most expensive part of your gun. Do you want to destroy your solenoid being under pressure? I surely don't. And God forbid that your bottle spikes.
Vroom, vroom.
Yeah. And it's going to destroy your freaking regulator in the gun.
Yeah, 100%. And then you're going to have to rebuild your HPR reg, which obviously that regulator is very important to balancing the pressure from your output of your tank and into the marker.
Into the solenoid.
Yeah, and into the solenoid as well. So overall, between your having to rebuild the HP, well, on this one would be the
HPR right here,
and then you've got your Noid, and
then your bolt system.
So yeah, there's 3 different things that could go wrong if you guys. A lot of players out there are lazy. Some of you guys be like, who leaves their gun under pressure? I've seen a lot of tournament players just literally, instead of degassing their Pops ASA or whatever marker you guys have, they just throw it into their gear bag until the next time they play. And that's no good. It's no good for your tank reg, and it's also not any good for any components of your of your marker, which a lot of markers these days are spool valve guns. Kind of going back to the tire thing, there's so many O-rings on the bolt system between the can, the bolt, and the actual...
Well, there's 4 automatically of the actual static O-rings just on the top of the bolt system. 4.
Correct. So there's a lot of O-rings that can go wrong, and people are like, well, my gun's not leaking. Once again, going back to the car thing, you might not be able to hear that leak, but very, very slowly over time, it could drain your bottle.
Eventually, yes.
So overall, don't leave your marker gassed up. And that's coming from not just these idiots, it's coming from the guys that actually manufacture the guns.
You got Planet and Die.
Oh yeah, but if you do need a rebuild, give us a call here. We have all the parts, we have all the techs ready to rock. It is LomoPaintball.com.